That kind of factory visit experience that we've developed, it's very comprehensive. And the result of that is a significantly high NPS. And it really is about the details. So when the customer comes to visit us at the hotel, waiting for the customer is a letter signed by our managing director welcoming the customer personally with her or his name. There's a Valtra beer waiting. At the breakfast, you will find Valtra candies, cookies, making customers really feel comfortable that they are in the Valtra world. So we try to create a sense of emotion with our customers.
Welcome to Morning Brew for Marketing Executives, the podcast where senior B2B marketing leaders from globally recognized brands in complex industries share their stories and experiences. Here we dive into the world of marketing leadership and hear more about what it's like to be a marketing leader. Today you'll hear an interesting discussion with a leader who manages a large multinational team. We welcome Matti Tiitinen, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Valtra. Valtra is a legendary brand with a long history, part of the global AGCO Corporation. Valtra is the leading tractor brand in the Nordics, one of the best-growing brands in the whole of Europe, and a household name in South America and globally sold in 75 countries. In this episode, you'll hear more about Valtra's way of bringing together sales and marketing, all while keeping customers at the center. Matti will share his leadership philosophy, and you'll hear more on how they set goals based on outcomes, create memorable customer experiences like factory visits, and plan with a strong focus on customer journey. This episode is hosted by Yanni Hovila, the Managing Director of Maven First, who has over a decade of experience working with marketing professionals in a complex sales environment. Let's get started.
Hello, Matti. How are you today?
Hey, thank you. Great to join this podcast.
Great to have you here. Today we will talk plenty of topics around marketing leadership, but first of all, let's introduce you. Who are we speaking to today?
Yeah, thank you. My name is Matti Tiitinen. I'm the VP for Sales and Marketing at Valtra. It's a pleasure to be with you here today to speak about marketing and obviously commercial success. I come from a company that is focused on delivering machine solutions for farmers across the world. We're part of the AGCO Corporation. AGCO is roughly 11.7 billion in net sales in 2024. And we are the biggest pure ag play machinery brand in the world. It's been a great pleasure to join Valtra in 2013 and ever since in multiple roles, work my way through to today's position. I'm super happy about our team, and hopefully today I can share you some insights on how we work, how we serve our customers, and how do we find the focus in how we do things, and that way improve our performance.
Just the sheer scale of things around AGCO and you working in Valtra brand. Can you give our listeners a little bit of context about your responsibilities in Valtra and how it kind of goes hand in hand with AGCO? I understood that it's a little bit different than you maybe first thought.
Yeah, sure. So AGCO is a global player. AGCO has four key brands: Valtra, Fendt, and Massey Ferguson. Those brands are focusing on the machinery business and the technology that comes with it. And then we have an exciting PTX brand that is solely focusing on technology to help farmers to produce more, produce better, and be more effective. So we are in this AGCO world, a brand that is super strong in Northern Europe. We are one of the best growing brands in Europe in the past decade, and we are a powerhouse in South America. Valtra is established in 1951 in the city of Jyväskylä in Finland. Already in 1960, the Finnish government, who owned Valtra at that time, made the biggest single investment done by any Finnish company abroad by installing our operations in Brazil. So since 1960, we've been developing the farming with Brazilian farmers. We've expanded to South America in the early parts of our time in South America. And today we can really see that Valtra is bipolar, super strong in Europe, very strong in South America, and growing in Africa and Australia and beyond. we put our time and focus in defining how does the farmer want to deliver their job. Valtra is a big part of the food chain across the world. And when it comes to how do we work, we've nailed down 3 differentiators that would position us really well within AGCO, but also within the agricultural equipment industry. We focus on having the most easy to use solutions out there. We want to ensure that we have hardworking tractors that are a match to hardworking farmers. And we focus on customization, something I'll speak about later on. But those 3 things really differentiate Valtra from the rest.
Just maybe hypothetical and a little bit light-hearted question, but can there be a situation when your team, marketing and sales, compete with your colleagues' team in Fendt, as an example?
Yeah,
Or
it's a good question. In a multi-brand company, for sure, that question we need to answer every day. We for sure see that we are not competing against our sister brands. We're competing against the outside world. The good thing about being in a multi-brand company is that we're able to compete by ensuring that we can always be just ahead of the sister brand. And I think when we all 3 do it at the same time, we'll be able to make sure that AGCO provides the best solution service for the customers. But for sure, the competition is on the outside.
yeah, definitely. So that's why I mentioned that a little bit of light-hearted question in that sense. Many of our listeners have listened some of the past episodes. I think you're the first one with both sales and marketing leadership role at the same time. Do you see that as a benefit for the company, or do you change hats or jackets depending on the day?
Oh, I have only one hat, and it should fit both of the sales and marketing aspects. Personally, I see it as a real privilege that the company has placed trust in me leading both teams. We're a very integrated team. Sales and marketing work every day like yin and yang together. By having them under one roof, we also ensure that we have only one focus, one mission, and one vision. And for sure, it also means that we need to find a balanced approach on some things where perhaps one might push the boundaries very far and the other says, hey, let's keep it simple. Let's go to the market with a program that is very neat and tidy. But I think overall, it does make a lot of sense. The commercial activities, having them under one roof, makes communications very simple. It makes sure that the frontline salespeople have exactly the right kind of marketing support. And I'm very happy about our team. We've got a super team on sales and marketing to drive this mission that we're on. And I think what we've learned in the past 2 years is we've had things under one roof, that we're able to be very innovative. We're able to be close to the customer. We're able to be visionary enough, and we're able to also see what really works, and we're able to test, trial, and fail fast. And I think that's been one of the things that I've experienced in the past 2 years, and it all boils down to having a very good team.
Yeah. So you are now had 2 years approximately when marketing and sales has been under one roof, and before that, different structure. Just before we go to the more on the leadership side of things, a little bit of context of your team and responsibilities from that aspect. Of course, big responsibility in both sales and marketing, but just on the leadership side, how many team members or what's the structure there? Do they also have multiple jackets?
Yeah, for sure. Everybody needs to have a clear role and responsibility. So we've got more than 50 people in marketing in Europe, and obviously, if you look at the whole team, it's a little bit bigger. We've got multiple different titles, so that really gives you the flavor that we've got expertise in digital marketing, we've got expertise in brand building, we've got expertise in setting up perfect demos for the customers, and everything in between. We try to also look at how do we improve our processes. So we've got a lot of order to cash expertise in our team. We've got a very strong pricing team, and not to mention the sales team. So if you look at Finland, where Valtra is roughly 60% in market share, We've got a very strong direct-to-customer organization in AGCO Suomi. So if anybody listening in Finland and you want to buy a tractor of any sort, AGCO Suomi is your place to visit. And then
they also send you a message, Matti, directly now when they listen and they want to buy a tractor that, hey, I want to buy a tractor.
Totally. Valtra is ready for serving you. And all across Europe. So we're covered with our team from Ireland to Ukraine, from Italy to north of Norway. And it really tells what we want to do. We want to be close to the customer. We really develop and rely on our professional dealer network structure. We've got 250 dealers all across Europe. We've got more than 1,000 locations where our customers can service their Valtra products in Europe. So that really gives you the flavor that we are everywhere. And I think we've got the technology and the know-how to take also the next steps towards the end of this decade.
As you mentioned, very integrated commercial approach to marketing and sales. But when you think the role of marketing in that commercial umbrella, how would you define that, or how you see the marketing role in that commercial engine, so to speak?
It's crucial. So marketing is the brand shaping part of our total company. We truly believe that marketing is the one that carves out the value, the communicational value that our products deliver to customers. Our farmer customers are very dependent on having the best knowledge and know-how to make the best decision for their business. And obviously, it's our marketing aim to ensure that their choice will be Valtra at the end. We believe that marketing has a great role in developing how do we work with our dealer network. So things like how do we set up our monthly routines and processes with our dealers? How do we communicate with our dealers to the customers? And how do we define what is the future roadmap for the products? We have a big role inside AGCO next to product management and engineering to define the future of our products. So from that point of view, we're obviously having our focus on today, but we're obviously looking to the future towards kind of mid 2035s, mid 2040s to be able to pave the way for future success.
So marketing's role is to shape the market, so to speak, and make sure that our brand is shaping kind of customer behavior also in a way. Did you mention like frontline salespeople and our partners in different countries, as well as, of course, the awareness side of things? Did I catch all the roles for marketing?
Yeah, pretty
correctly?
well. And we can simplify it in a way that marketing is responsible for the upper sales funnel and sales is responsible for the lower sales funnel. Marketing has a huge role in customer journey. So from the knowing, the liking, and awareness before that, all those things are something that marketing does for our brand. Sales is there very much to close the deal, ensure that the customer lifetime success starts properly. But obviously, we have a huge part, which is the customer performance. That then really links to how do we serve customer. We've got an awesome spare parts availability all across Europe. Our professional dealer network delivers exceptional service. So maintenance and repairs. And then obviously it's in our best interest to have a high retention rate. I think Valtra is one of the brands that have the highest retention rates in Europe. So customers really love to come back. And that really proves the value of our package to the customers. But marketing does have its role at the full customer journey. But I think we have a significant focus to the beginning part. As for any professional company, the aim is to grow market share profitably. And for sure, in order to grow market share, we need to look to the outside to get new customers. And by doing the great job at the beginning of the customer journey, we're able to pave way for success with our dealers.
Definitely. And what we have seen in almost any industrial company is a big emphasis also on the aftermarket, the servicing side. Is there a role for marketing also when I have the tractor, and how to communicate, how to make sure the clients capture the value and understand the value and kind of keep the brand fresh, or how you see that? Or is there another part of the organization, kind of customer success type of thing, or is that still part of your marketing team's responsibility?
As a worldwide company, we obviously have functions that touch each of the customer journey points. When I look at my colleagues on field service, parts, technology, we're very much working with them in order to make sure that the customer gets one seamless Valtra and AGCO experience. But let me give you one example from Finland. So as we do direct to customer here, every year we have roughly 150 to 200 people coming to our product training. We usually target to have customers having had 6 months of experience from their smart machines, driving on the field, really owning the machine, getting to learn it. Then they'll have this very special 2-day training hosted by our team. And there we focus on capturing the maximum potential out of the machine. There we focus on different feature sets, how to unlock more potential with new software features. And it's a great chance for us to get to know our customers' problems. We involve our engineering and field service in this training in order to make sure that those people who leave that training after 2 days of in-depth discussion will be able to get more out of their machine. But also us, we've been able to get to know their problems and have the latest and greatest from their field operations. And I think that will really keep our heart pumping towards the next year. And also, hopefully, customers see the value in us bringing all the people there to ensure that they get everything out of their machine. And sometimes we see that there are features that customer didn't know that they bought. So it's a great chance for us to remind that they really indeed bought it. And sometimes we go through a feature set like, with the tractor today, you can go out on the field with guidance technology, so GPS guidance technology. You can go to the headland where the tractor turns and it'll raise the implement up automatically, and then it'll set the next way line and go back on the field. All that's automized. And some of those features could be missed when the machine was purchased. And we're able to do upgrades for the machine. And I think learning what's possible usually helps there.
I would guess that that's big part of the whole brand experience and the customer satisfaction, customer experience. Easy example, my car. I probably don't use all the bells and whistles that comes with it because I don't know how to use all the things. So yeah, that's a good point. Just when working such integrated with sales and marketing and in the whole commercial umbrella, can you define, like, let's say I would be in charge of the marketing side. What would be your expectations towards me then? Or can you even kind of divide the role or the outcomes or expectations that you wait and expect from me leading the marketing side in this hypothetical example, contrary to your sales side or all the other parts of how you see that?
Yeah, it is a very good question. I think where I come from is that we all have roles. The roles are different, but they're equally important. And we put a lot of time and focus at Valtra to ensure that the targets we set for everybody, individual targets, team targets, company targets, that they are aligned. If I look at how we started this year, just to give you a flavor, we look at AGCO overall strategic targets, which are then obviously cascaded to Valtra targets. We look at Valtra targets. What does it mean from a sales and marketing point of view? Where do we need to come through? And then we break it down all the way to individual targets. And now we've got a pretty cool, transparent view to everybody's goals. Everybody can see what's my goal, what is the goal of a colleague. And I always aim to approach it in a way that we never look at individual people's target achievement in front of others. But what we do look at is the team achievement in front of everybody. So we're able to be transparent. How do we track against our target? We do have a physical customer journey board at our factory, at our office, where we have the key projects which we need to accomplish. And then we discuss face to face, have we achieved it? Do we have any roadblocks? And how do we trigger more happy customers through our activities? So that level of transparency, I think, is really helping us to stay focused on what do we need to accomplish. And by having a transparent target setting, it allows our team to help the colleague out. I mean, if you would be in our team, you would be for sure getting a lot of support from your colleagues because they know what's expected from you and how it adds up to the overall target achievement of the team where you work in.
Yeah, and I think that's very interesting point if we go one level deeper in there, because what we see and one of the challenges in every studies and reports in marketing is that those targets are typically very activity based. Easy example, my target is to produce 4 axes, something, that's my target. But compare that to sales, of course, you need to have those tactical metrics in place, meetings, whatever it may be. But actually, why you do that is way more important than the outcome there. So, without going into details, Matti, have you been able to set also outcome level metrics on the individual level, or are those still more on the activity side of things?
Well, look at the farmer today. We see that there are less and less farmers doing more work. So the food production that will be taking place during the next 50 years in absolute food produced, it'll be more than the food produced in the past 10,000 years. That's the scale and the challenge that farmers have today. So what do we need to do? We are a big company providing ag machinery tech to the farmers' hands in order to produce more, be more automized, and ensure that we're able to provide the right kind of tool set to be very effective. So you come from that angle and you see, okay, what are the things we can do right now to help the farmer? So it often leads to more technology adaptation. And that then boils down to maybe 3 big things. One, is our technology easy to use? We say absolutely. It's our user interface developed by our awesome UX team in Suolahti, Finland is by far the best UX we have out there. So
Better than in Fendt or Massey Ferguson.
I'm saying that it's super easy to use. So that's one thing. We know that. So it helps us to push our high-tech solutions to the customers because we know it's making it easy to use. Second point, how do we help the customer to be more effective? Well, it's through the different software features, like we have a system that allows customer to have totally hands-free field operation. So by pushing those features, we're able to help the farmers to be more effective. I mean, with the limited availability of labor, for sure, it'll even up the performance level between drivers and unlocks more potential. So we need to push that. And third, because we want to grow market share, we want to ensure that we can demonstrate our product properly. So now you put those 3 things next to each other and think, what's the best way to ensure that we have a proper track to improve this? And it boils down to, can we use the telematic technology we have developed in our machines to see what the machine does, what are the performance levels, and use that technology to provide an outstanding demonstration experience. And that's what we've done. So we've captured the machine data through Valtra Connect. We've enabled customer to get an awesome report on the machine performance. And in that demonstration out on the field with customers' implements and customers' soil, we're able to prove that the whole package is easy to use, it's customized for farmers' needs, and it's for sure showing that we are hardworking people delivering hardworking solutions. So it is very much about what do we want to achieve, and that's the net farm income gains. And then from a marketing point of view, it may mean that it's in our best interest to promote the technology that we've got, ensure that our team is focusing on demonstrations and getting those demonstration reports to customers to prove our point.
Now, when I'm working as individual in one of the teams, now that would be easy to put on my outcomes, that my role is to make sure we have the message right, or my role is to get to 100 farmers in front of 100 farmers, and that would be my outcome. Did I catch that right?
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
we need to be clear with what we want to achieve, and then obviously leave the space for our team to figure out how to get there. That's the beauty of having a talented team, that we can obviously throw them a challenge and they will figure out the best way to get there.
Yeah, definitely. I hope our listeners rewind a little bit now this episode and listen again, because I think that's big challenge when we talk and see in the marketing side, that how to give that accountability on the performance and outcomes, not just quote unquote on the action side. So I highly recommend rewind a little bit, maybe 5 minutes, and listen in again what Matti just told, because I think that's very nicely done. And what I point in my notebook here, that is what it sounds like to be really customer driven, because you started from what the customer needs. And I think that's a great example there. So on the planning cycle part, let's say you have these 3 examples, the big outcomes you want to influence from a marketing and sales aspect. What's your planning look like? Are you in some sort of long-term planning and short-term Scrum model, or how do you plan the actual activities, and how you balance both the 2030, 2040 strategic view to the day-to-day activities?
Yeah, we for sure start by looking at where do we expect our farmer customers to be in 2040, 2050? What are their expectations? We then come back to where do we want to find Valtra in 2035, 2040? And that links back to our product solutions, our team structure, our leadership structure. We do strategic planning 5 year at a time. It cascades down to how we want to perform on an annual basis. And then at sales and marketing, I believe that it's important to break those annual targets into sizable packages. We can call them monthly sprints. We can call them quarterly targets. The point is that we need to ensure that the overall target we aim to achieve can be broken down to understandable pieces. That's something we do rather well. We obviously want to ensure that when it comes to an area sales manager, the numerical targets are easy to understand and yet challenging to achieve. That's usually the way we push boundaries. From a marketing point of view, we obviously have our focus on the upper sales funnel in order to do the retail registrations that we measure, which is the absolute way to see how well our market share progresses. We need to have enough people coming in. So that's the lead and that's the brand awareness that we're pushing. But that's how we structure this. And as I said, when we every month get the team around the customer journey board, it helps us also to calibrate that are the things that we do right now helping the customer or our dealer, and preferably both, to do a better job.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of nice position statement. What's our position in this company? How can we help to our dealers and customers do a better job? So it's very clear, precise position statement in that sense. Taking this a little bit on the value communication side and probably more on the marketing side of your team, in the industrial space and in heavy B2B is our challenge to how to prove the impact, because those changes take long to achieve. There's, of course, you have the whole retail offline aspect there as well. How you see kind of from the marketing point of view, how to prove the value or communicate the impact we are having in our marketing actions? I think sales is a little bit easier. It's always the currency provided, but from your point of view, how you see the marketing side of things?
I think it still kind of blends to the sales and marketing view. So if we run a marketing campaign, we calculate the ROI, return on investment that we get. If we participate in an exhibition, we obviously make sure we follow up in the CRM. How do we capture the potential before, at the show, and post show? So I think it's not that complicated. What may be more complicated is to measure the experience side of it. But I think also there, we've pushed the boundaries a lot during the past year. And let me take the example of factory visits. So every Finnish customer gets an invite to see the birth of their tractor. And it's a really cool way to engage them with our brand, something we've done for a long time. We've been pushing the factory visit experience big time this year, and we've got an awesome team lead to do that work for us. And when we now look at all the 2,000 customers who've been with our factory so far this year, we can really see that we've got a very high net promoter score. So the customers say, I definitely recommend this experience for my colleague. And in the business of farming, if we look at word of mouth, it's still the strongest marketing tool. When the neighbor farmer is driving a Valtra, it's more likely that the farmer himself or herself will select the Valtra. So that kind of factory visit experience that we've developed, it's very comprehensive. And the result of that is a significantly high NPS. And it really is about the details. So when the customer comes to visit us at the hotel, waiting for the customer is a letter signed by our managing director welcoming the customer personally with her or his name. There's a Valtra beer waiting. When they will have a dinner with our team at the local restaurants, there is Valtra menu available. We've been training the waiters, the chefs at the factory from those restaurants to know Valtra, and it really helps them also to get more engaged with our customers. At the breakfast, you will find Valtra candies and Valtra cookies, making customers really feel comfortable that they are in the Valtra world. When they come to the factory, we're obviously taking them through our production facility, looking at our 3D showrooms, technology. We even have a racing simulator that is built around the digital twin that we run at engineering so they can compete against each other. And when they leave, they're able to experience our merchandise shop and usually take something home for the babies or anybody else. So we try to create a sense of emotion with our customers. And usually that bond with the customers who come to our factory in Suolahti, Finland, is making our common journey very long and very hard.
Yeah. Sorry, I need to repeat myself. If you work in the industrial side of marketing, rewind a little bit and listen in, because I think it's always important to get the strategy right. We started from there, like what's the role and stuff, but the level and attention to details is something I think you have really thought out in this great example. Just on the scale, if I buy a tractor for, let's say I live in Germany and I buy a tractor, am I offered the same experience?
Yeah. So if we look at our flagship, which is called the S series, going up to 425 horsepower, we did invite customers from all across Europe to receive the first 50 machines when we started the production just over a year ago. So we certainly want to ensure that this experience is available and accessible for all customers. It might mean that we have a specific campaign, marketing campaign, or we have a specific program, and all the customers who buy within certain time period or take certain model, they get invited to the factory. But our factory stores are open. We want to ensure that that part of the experience is unique. It's accessible to both the customers, and for sure, like Germany, France, they're the two biggest agricultural markets in Europe. We want to make sure that those customers get to know our brand every day better and better.
That's a great example. Very attention to detail. Now I want to buy a tractor. I don't know what I would do with that, but I'm not sure what's the smallest S series tractor I could buy to just get to the experience now. But I need to probably talk this through with my wife first. Maybe if we can attach some sort of very small lawnmower, maybe I could then sell that.
We can fix that for you.
Yeah, definitely. So now you get the lead from this interview. So
Thank you.
one
I'll
for
note it down.
tomorrow. If we go to the day-to-day management side, meeting rhythms, how you make this commercial engine run, how does that look like?
It comes down to certain degree of routines, how we work our way through the week, so that people are pumped up about what we do. They're able to get help when necessary. I try to stay as much as possible close to our customers, so traveling across Europe, meeting with our customers, dealers to unlock some of the potential that there is, giving that feedback back to the people at base at the factory. That's important. Spending time with the team we have at the Suolahti factory, spending time with the team we have in different countries. That's really important. Leadership is all about communication and focus. When we get those two things right, we're able to be a high performing team. But I think it also relates to the culture. So at AGCO, we aim to be every single day the most farmer focused company in the world. And when it comes to our culture, so we have three cultural beliefs which guides the whole organization through. Those are speak up. So we want to embrace candor. We want that people are able to express their opinions. They're able to make sure that everybody can exactly express what they feel and think. Next to speak up, it's team up. We want to ensure that we really are able to get the power of AGCO to serve customers. So that's the work I explained earlier, how sales and marketing works with our technology business, how we work with our spare parts colleagues, how do we ensure that customer success on after sales side, field service works properly. All those things need to tie up together to make sense for our customers. And finally, it is the farmer first approach. We need to be able to deliver value. That value needs to be justified through net farm income, better net promoter score, better farmer effectivity. And those kind of cultural things, I believe, are driving our team as a whole. So AGCO is a big company worldwide. That culture is very much living and breathing at Valtra and helps our team to make better decisions. We are a company that believes in decentralized decision making. And when you have a strong culture, you have the right people in the right place, that then starts to live its own life. And combine that with focus, it allows us to do the right things at the right time.
Great concretization of how the values and communication and also autonomy in a sense plays a role there. Seeing we are 40 minutes in, I need to ask how far away, always in today's age, we need to ask something about AI. So how far away we are from tractors driving autonomously, making their own decisions, when to raise the implement or without autonomous driving, how far away we are, or are we already there?
Yeah, I definitely recommend that everybody checks out AGCO's Tech Days. We just actually this week and now recording on the first week of October, we've had the Tech Day in Germany. So definitely check it out. There's bunch of cool technology for tractors and autonomy, and it's obviously something that AI helps. So check it out. We're on a journey with our customers. So we've gone from driving very much manually, and then 20 years ago, we installed a GPS guidance system to drive straight lines or contour lines. Now we're very much ahead with automation. So I mentioned that you're able to run with fully automated processes on the field today. And eventually we're speaking about autonomy. So check out what AGCO is doing. I think there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And for sure, if you look at things like in 1950s, when we look at the field operations, so farmer would see kind of 1 square meter at a time. How is the soil health? How is the health of the plants? Today, it's more about individual plants, how we're able to treat individual plants to ensure that they grow with kind of right technology to spray different, pesticides, herbicides onto the plant. All those things are very much connected to what's possible today. And I think AGCO is doing a great job in leading the way there. But I think, the AI space is ever evolving. So I think it's all about ensuring that you have the right focus, right team, and the right capabilities there in-house.
We will definitely share a link to that presentation in the show notes in both Spotify or if you're watching in YouTube, so our listeners can check what is actually the possibilities and how the future look like in agriculture and in the whole end-to-end food producing space. We have a couple rapid questions in the end. If you could get your marketing budget 3 times, what would you do? And the only thing, it needs to be sane investment.
That's a very good question. I believe that we would still go back to the things we're doing today, ensure that we're as visible as possible to customers. It comes down to professional demonstrations, tailoring that to the maximum. And at scale, it obviously will deliver results. Focusing on our online and offline marketing push, that's a big thing. I mean, we do a lot with influencers today, and agriculture overall is actually very active on social media. We just a year ago renewed our social media strategy and have been pushing that intensely. Third, I very much want to see us continuing to focus on those unique experiences with the customers that already run Valtra today, because I still believe that it's really the number one focus, that when customer invest in Valtra, we are able every day to confirm to the customers that they've done the right choice with what we do. So field focus, online focus, offline focus to create the brand awareness and ensuring that our existing customers are happy and they're able to get everything out of their equipment.
That's a clear focus. So 3 times the budget. So just triple the budget for each category in that sense. Another question, what one tip or advice would you give yourself when first starting in your first leadership position, if you could get back?
That's a good question as well. So I think the big thing that I believe in is that without a goal, a plan is a wish. So that approach is absolutely vital, that we're able to carve out a proper plan and then execute. On the other hand, I think we all see society and technology and everything moving so fast. I think it's important to also take the time to think about what's going to happen next. What do we want to do next? And when you think long enough, you're able to then accelerate much faster. So it's not about the movement alone. It's very much about ensuring that you have carefully considered the aspects that are relevant. And when you do that, you actually are able to give your organization time to jump on the bandwagon, and then you can accelerate. Those things are really important. And this, obviously, business is like a marathon. It's never a sprint at the end. And as a leader, we don't want to end up in a situation that you cross the line at the marathon at over 42 kilometers and you think that we're there. And then you look back and you see kind of people, somebody just started the race and somebody's at 30-kilometer mark. So you want to make sure that everybody's following you. And that comes back to communication focus, but also that you give the organization time also to embrace the change.
Definitely. All right. Big thank you, Matti, for taking the time and coming to this podcast. Great talk and great insights. If our listeners want to learn more about your ideas or just connect with you, what would be the best way to connect with you or see your insights and ideas more?
Yeah, obviously, I welcome everybody to connect via LinkedIn or other platform. If you want to visit the factory and you see Valtra as a cool brand to perhaps work at in the future, we're always looking for new talent. And if you just want to discuss, I'm happy to always have a good discussion.
We will add the LinkedIn handle as well. And I just heard this week or last week that you have actually, I'm not sure if that's your personal Valtra TikTok or is that company TikToks. So for those being in that platform, I heard that it's something to recommend to follow also. Maybe that's a Valtra TikTok. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. So, and yeah, farmers across the world are really the driver who spends most of the time inside the tractor. They obviously have time, and the technology helps them to take the time to really look at the quality of the work. But at some point, there's always time to go on TikTok in the cap of Valtra. So for sure, we're on TikTok, and make sure you follow us.
Yeah, we will add that to the show notes as well. All right. Thank you very much, Matti, taking the time. And thank you, our listeners, for listening in this episode. We will continue in a couple of weeks with the next one. Take care all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Morning Brew for Marketing Executives. We hope you found today's episode insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed the conversation, please subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us bring you more stories from marketing leaders. This podcast is produced by Maven First. For more information, please visit mavenfirst.com.